Hello, guess what time it is? It's virtual happy hour time. And we're here for the virtual happy hour. And I'm Lon Hudman, Vice President of Events and Marketing at Soul Naturals, and I'm joined by Hope Anderson.
Thanks,
and
Lon.
we have a great program. We're right in the middle of Mental Health Awareness Month. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We're right in the middle of that. And so we are going to be talking about that. That's kind of the topic of the day, right?
Yeah, so we've been talking about, because there's so much that goes into mental health, right? And even mental health awareness, there's so much that goes into that. So we've been talking about different little angles and aspects of it. With Allison, she's been focusing on different things each week if you've been watching her mental health trainings. And then tonight, we're going to have special presenter Tiffany DeLuisi come on and talk to us about adaptogens and mental health. Because being someone who doesn't come from a herb background, right? I came and I was like, what the heck are adaptogens when I first started at Soul? And so a lot of people, when we talk about these things and we're so passionate about, a lot of times we've been doing them for so long that we forget how to slow it down and be like, oh, this is what adaptogens are.
We assume that everyone knows about them and they don't.
Exactly.
Right?
And so she's going to be talking about some adaptogens, what they are, and some specific adaptogens and how they relate to mental health. So we're excited for that.
All right. And I've got my pin from my mental health.
There you go.
Yeah, there it is. This side. I got my mental health awareness pin. Okay. And all the donations go to
Hope Squad. Yep. We're super excited about that.
And that's not your squad.
No,
That's completely different.
I mean, it would be nice. I'd be open to donations, but no, I'm just kidding. They are much more worthy of it. So honestly, they're awesome. I've posted about them a couple times in our Facebook. So if you're wondering who they are, you can go and find those posts and even see if they have a location in your state. They're in over 950 schools across the U.S. But basically, to sum it up, they do a lot of things, but they focus on teen suicide prevention. And they're a school-based program, which is really neat. So these pins, all the proceeds go towards them, and we are super excited about it. So this is something I care a lot about, and so I would love to sell out of these pins.
Right.
So being halfway through May, I know a lot of you personally have already bought pins, but if you haven't talked to your family members or, your friends and offered like, hey, would you be willing to buy this pin for $10? You could even order it to your house, because I know it's hard to, sign someone up as a member just to buy a pin. Doesn't really make sense. So you could order them, and then, if they live close to you, just have them give you cash or Venmo you. So yeah, it's just, we're really excited about it, and we want to make a big impact for Hope Squad, and for all the kids' lives that it touches. So please don't forget about those.
Yeah, it's a great cause. So buy the pins. And help the Hope Squad. All right. Well, I saw some people. I want to welcome everyone who's chatting in, by the way. So I want to welcome all my friends. I see Dolores out there, Deanne, Ashley, Rachel, Debbie, Heidi, Becky. Welcome, everyone, to our virtual happy hour. And I saw a couple people mentioned already that they're looking forward to the dad joke. Well, I have some bad news.
Per usual.
No, but I have some bad news.
Oh.
I cannot tell dad jokes anymore during our live stream broadcasts.
Well, Lon, I hate to tell you this, and there's really no reason for you to be here. I mean,
It's true. That's the only reason I'm here.
Kidding.
But no, here's what happened, is that I was talking to my wife, okay? Well, first of all, it makes me feel really bad because I like telling my dad jokes, and I think I'm really, really funny. In fact, you were pointing out that if you type my name into a smartphone, it autocorrects as LOL. That's how funny I am. Okay, but anyway, I like to tell the dad jokes, and in fact, I received from several of you some actual books filled with dad jokes. But I was talking to my wife, and my wife said, honey, when you're in person and you tell the jokes, they're okay.
Yeah.
But live streaming, you're not remotely funny. So there you go. A dad joke about not telling dad jokes.
Wow. There you go.
That's something right there.
And I'm just waiting for people to get it, We're
I'm not remotely
That's awesome.
funny. All right.
And well, I have to say, as soon as you started saying that in person your jokes were really funny, I was like, I think this is going somewhere.
No, I think I said they were okay.
Oh, okay. You did.
That's what my wife said. She didn't say they were really funny.
That's funny. Awesome. Well, thank you, Lon. It truly does bring a lot of joy to everyone to hear your dad jokes.
Okay.
And it's something I can't do. So, you're irreplaceable. But we want to go ahead and welcome on Tiffany DeLuisi. We're super excited to have her. Hey, Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi.
How
Thanks
are
for having
you?
me. Good. How are you guys?
Good. You look so awesome and professional with your glasses and your cute painting in the
Oh, thank
background.
you.
That's
Thanks. Yeah, I'm not
awesome.
in my typical classroom upstairs where I also work, where I'm homeschooling my kids, so I moved downstairs today.
Ooh, we'll change of location. I like it.
All
Yes.
right. Well, it looks
Yes.
good. We're looking forward to your presentation.
All right. Thank you. All right. So, hello, my soul family. My name is Tiffany DeLuisi, and I am going to share with you all tonight about adaptogens and mental health. I like to geek out on my herbs, so that's what we're going to do tonight. And like we mentioned before, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I love that Soul is focusing their attention on mental health because we all have mental health, and it's just as important as our physical health. And I know I speak for myself, and I think I speak for everyone, that we've all had experiences or situations in our lives where we feel like we need a little bit of healing in this area, whether or not we need to just decrease some stress, or we need to heal from a stressful experience, or we just want to feel more energized in a positive way. And one of the things I love about Soul Naturals is that we address both the mind and the body. And in doing so, we can really achieve optimal health. And a lot of people don't realize that physical or the mental health part of it is just as important as the physical health of it. And they both play on each other. So without one, you can't have the other, right? And also my love of adaptogens and how they can really help bring both into balance. So you can go ahead and change to the next slide. So I wanted to kick things off by talking a little bit about what mental health is. So according to the World Health Organization, mental health is the state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her ability to cope with normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to make contributions to his or her community. So when we have kind of an imbalance of that, that's when we might see some anxiety disorders or some mood disorders. So according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, anxiety disorders are the most common type of mental illness. And I know as myself has struggled a lot with anxiety and depression over the years. I used to think I'm totally alone with this. Maybe there's something wrong with me. There's not, right? This is the most common form of mental health imbalance, right? There's also some mood disorders where people may have or sometimes they're also called depressive disorders, where these conditions have significant changes in mood, right? So maybe you're just high and elated in all life one minute and maybe kind of feeling low and maybe a little depressed the next. And that just means that we have a little bit of imbalance in that mental health that needs to balance out. Okay, you can change the slide. Research has actually shown us that adaptogen herbs can help us combat fatigue, enhance mental performance, ease depression and anxiety, and help us thrive rather than just muddle through the day. So one of the things I love is that every single one of Soul's products includes an adaptogen herb, and that adaptogen herbs are helping us do just this, right? So whether you think you're working on your mental health or not, you are. You can go ahead and change the slide. So there are three main factors that we need to look at when it comes to our emotional health and improving our emotional health, okay, or what's maybe causing the imbalance. The first one could be, is there any physical or emotional trauma events in your life, past or present, right? So when we've had an emotional or a traumatic event, it can have a long-term impact on our overall health. Because what happens is that it can alter the neural pathways in our brain, which can then alter the way your body handles stress. So the next thing we want to look at is there any biological or chemical imbalances infected in your emotions, right? So your mind is affected by neurotransmitters, hormones, other chemical messages floating around in the body. So if there's an imbalance of those, we're going to start to maybe not feel so good, feel some of those, the anxiety, the depression, the fatigue, the inability to concentrate, those sort of things. And the third thing we want to look at is Is there a current stressful situation in your life, or maybe a lifestyle choice that is interfering with your body's ability to heal? And chronic stress is the fastest way to negatively affect your mental health. So when we start to kind of dive in and see which one of these 3 root causes is maybe at the root of how we're not feeling a little blah, not like ourselves, instead of just suppressing those emotions and being like, I'll just get through it, we're going to feel better much faster. Go ahead and change the slide. So like I mentioned before, your physical health and your mental health are completely connected, right? We all have organs and body systems, and they don't work independent of each other. They all work together, okay? So your brain also plays an essential role in your emotional stability. And that is also controlled with your thyroid glands and your adrenal glands and your digestive system and your liver. It's all connected. So if one of these things are out of balance, then the other things may come out of balance as well. So a lot of times when I talk to clients, they'll be kind of surprised when I say, if you're struggling with these things, let's kind of look at your gut health, or let's look at your hormone health. And they'll say, well, what does that have to do with my anxiety and depression? Well, it has everything to do with it, right? Because they don't act independently of each other. Okay, so we can go to the next slide. And so one of the ways we can combat this imbalance is the use of adaptogen herbs. So if you're kind of new to soul, or you're like, I have no idea what an adaptogen is, basically they are a class of herbs, or they're non-toxic plants, that their main job is to help our bodies reduce stressors. So whether they be physical, chemical, or biological, these roots and these herbs have been around for centuries and have been used in Chinese and Ayurvedic healing traditions. So these herbs help our body in reaching or recovering from both short-term and long-term physical or mental stress. So whether you're training for a marathon and during a marathon study session, or even just sprinting through a stressful midday meeting, adaptogens can be the key to help you get through that. So one of the things I wanted to share with you is I wanted to share 3 of my favorite things, adaptogens, as it pertains to mental health. I had to narrow it to 3 because of time, because I could keep talking. But one of them is ashwagandha. Not only is it fun to say, but I was even more proud of myself when I was able to spell it. But even before I ever knew about Soul products, ashwagandha was one of those things that I was really looking for my own health practices. So I love that ashwagandha is in a couple of our products. But ashwagandha is one of the most important herbs in Ayurveda, and that is an alternative medicine practice based on Indian principles of natural healing. Ashwagandha has been used for over 3,000 years to help relieve stress, increase energy levels, and improve concentration. And we have this wonderful herb inside our Soul Vital and our Adaptable. Okay, so the next slide is eleuthero. You may have also heard this called Siberian ginseng, and it has been used in traditional Chinese medicine practices for centuries. So it has been used to help increase mental alertness and boost physical performance. But what's amazing about eleuthero, in my opinion, is that it's really used to treat some of the symptoms of depression. So if you've ever struggled with depression, you might know that maybe you have like appetite changes. Either you want to eat too much or don't eat enough, or sleep disturbances, you can't sleep at all, or you sleep too much, headaches, there are other side effects. And what it does is it helps alleviate those symptoms for you. But it's also known to help you boost your energy levels and also help you overcome exhaustion, which we know is also a side effect when your mental health is a little bit out of balance. Okay, next slide. There has been a lot of research that has shown that vitamin D is really important for healthy brain function. So if we don't have sufficient levels of vitamin D, it may play a role in depression and other mental illnesses. So whereas vitamin D itself is not an adaptogen, what I love is our newest product, which is called Longevity, which is Soul's Vitamin D, contains an adaptogen called Guduchi, also really fun to say, right? Which is an adaptogen, and it has been used to help reduce stress and anxiety. What I love about longevity is it's 100% plant-based, and I could be wrong about this, but I don't think that's easy to find. In fact, I think Sol is probably one of the first plant-based vitamin Ds on the market. I've not found another one, but I've also never found another vitamin D that's plant-based and contains an adaptogen, right? So it's doing a lot more for us than just giving us some vitamin D, right? All right, next slide. So I love that Sol has recently put together these starter kits, and they have this mood package because our mood is determined by both our physical and emotional conditions. And this kit contains everything you need to manage stress and regain control. So tonight I didn't talk about omega fatty acids, which is found in our Sol omegas, or essential oils, which are also another passion for me. I could talk about essential oils all day long too. But it also includes that vital, the adaptable, and the longevity. And we know that when we put these 5 products together, you're going to get an abundance of nutrients to help you holistically balance your mood, which is going to help you better manage stress and adapt to life's many changes. So I love this quote that says, "There is no health without mental health." And we all have emotions, we all have feelings and thoughts and moods, and that all influences our mental health. And that is all perfectly normal. And so we want to take care of our mental health just as much as we take care of our physical health. So tonight I asked a couple of my soul sisters to come on and share their testimony with sharing a little bit about their mental health and how Sol has helped them. So the first one I asked to come on is Paige Campbell, and she's going to come on and tell a little bit of her story with us now. Hi, Paige.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
I'm so happy you're here to tell your story, so I'm going to let you take it away.
Okay. So hi everyone, I'm Paige. I'm 33. I'm from Jersey. And if y'all don't know the Jersey lifestyle, it's fast-paced, stressful, and if you're in my shoes, you're hated on because you're kind of different. As a teenager to a young adult, I was addicted to quite a few drugs to escape the bullying, stress, and anxiety from the fast pace of this Jersey lifestyle. I was sent to a rehab, and there I was put on 5 to 6 different anxiety medications because of the bullying. Sometimes walking into a room spiked my anxiety. My anxiety has gotten so bad to the point I would walk away and throw up. Sometimes throw up for the rest of the night, or even just go into the bathroom and do it just once and walk out like everything was fine. I would even avoid eating for a couple days so I would not have to worry about throwing up somewhere like random. I don't do that. I was also very snappy with everyone, even my nieces, which if you know me, I don't like being mean or snappy with the people in my life. You guys know me, I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. A year and a half ago, my holistic mermaid Eve knew how bad my anxiety was and sent me some Sol adaptables. I started taking them right away within a week or two. I was feeling like I was before the stress, anxiety, and bullying. These little adaptogens have changed my life forever. The stress and the anxiety of the fast-paced Jersey lifestyle does not bother me anymore. I don't worry about throwing up in trash cans or worry about snapping on the people I love. I can do all the traveling I want to. Last summer, I had the chance to go to my friends in Colorado and drive with this wonderful woman, Tiffany, that literally just introduced me to my first convention in Utah last August, which I would have never done thanks to adaptables. But we hit the road and did some traveling by myself, doing all the things I normally never thought I would be doing, some of the things I would be doing. Never thought the some things that I would be doing, I'm doing. I now run virtual escape rooms, which my introverted self would never do that. I hate being like around people like that. And I just went to Florida and was able to be 100% me, unapologetically me. That is a win in my books because I used to never be like that, always afraid of judgment. So thank you, adaptables. They're a win-win. There is no downfall in my books for adaptable. And that's pretty much my story with adaptables. I mean, I wouldn't really be here without them. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I know that you were a little nervous to share it, but I told you before and I still stand by it. There's one person listening that's like, I don't feel alone now because you shared that story. So thank you, Paige.
No problem.
So next I want to bring on Andrea Knapp, and she's going to share a little bit of her story and testimonial with you about using Soul.
Hey everybody, can you see me okay? Let me get in the
There we
picture.
go.
Okay.
Now we can see you.
Okay.
Hi, Andrea.
Hey everybody, how are you?
Good. How are you? I know
Good.
you've been a
Excited to
little
share my
nervous about
story.
your story too, but I'm excited to hear you share it.
Okay. So hey everyone, I am Andrea Knapp, and I'm a wife of almost 19 years. I have 3 children, and I've been a soul sister for about 14 months now. And I am grateful for these herbs every single day. At the beginning of last year, I was starting my 5th year of losing myself. Let me explain a little bit. I've always been a tad bit anxious, but I had no idea the tricks that a mind can really play. When I think back, I have always been a checker. I would check things like making sure the coffee pot was off, the stove was off, the curling iron was off before I left for work, and on and on. It began to get worse. So then my small checking, my small little bit of OCD that I had led to chronic OCD. A lot of people don't realize that there are many faces to OCD. Some people can clean, organize, check, have intrusive thoughts, and so on. And I actually have aspects of all of them. My brain would think that if I didn't do these impulsions to the point of where I felt safe, I would think that I could harm someone by my thoughts, get sick, not me sick, someone else would get sick, or even die because of me. The OCD started with just small things that I listed before, but it grew to a list of over 100 things to check daily, obsess about daily. All of this checking led to the point of making me late for work and making my kids late for school. The fear and worry grew so large to the point of a delusion. Christmas night a few years back, I was having a great time with my family as usual, but things began to become very fuzzy. I don't remember much besides sitting at the table with my family and waking up the next day. That is when the fear would begin to take over my life. The checking was out of control to the point where I was checking for footprints in the snow and signs of life for my neighbor. Why? I thought I severely harmed her. I didn't tell anyone for weeks. My husband noticed a drastic change over me, and I broke down and finally told him what I thought I had did. He reassured me that it didn't happen, but this time the reassurance didn't help as it did with other things. I grew to be scared of everything. After about 3 months of worrying, my husband made me get help. After this is where I started a 2.5-year journey of inpatient and outpatient therapy for mental illness. At this time, I didn't have time to eat or drink. My time was all consumed with looking out the window, checking on my neighbor to hope to see signs of life. Even when I saw them, my brain tricked me and convinced me that I didn't see them. My doctors tried everything to break me out of this fear. Medications and therapy would help, but not dissolve the delusion. I ended up having to leave my career and focus on my health. I did start to break out of the delusion about 1.5 years ago when my therapist looked up the missing persons list and found nothing on the date that I had gave her. Even though I was starting to break through, I was on so much medication that all I wanted to do was stay in bed and hide. Until last February. I was scrolling through Facebook and saw someone talking about anxiety, and they were taking something 100% plant-based. I asked what it was, and she said she would message me. Little did I know that these herbs and Paige would save my life. I started with Vital, Cinemate, Adaptable, and Flex PI. I really had little hope for them because I previously had tried everything naturally and chemically. To my disbelief, they started working. My anxiousness was lessening to a point where I stopped an obsession that I thought I couldn't break. Within a month, I was starting to get out of bed and having energy, and even wanting to work out, and that is not me. My anxiety attacks would even level off to the point I was able to lessen some of my medication. My life now is extremely different now with these adaptogens in my life. I am so happy and healthy, and I live every day to the fullest. I also help try and spread the word about these herbs as much as possible. I do still have some down days, but nothing like I had before. I will forever share my love and support for this company and the herbs for saving my life.
Thank you so much, Andrea. I just think you have such a powerful story, and a lot of people don't understand. Like you hear the words OCD, but you don't really understand what you're going through. And I think you really described that well. And I just want to thank you for sharing your story tonight.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just love our soul family. And I love to hear them share their testimonies. And they're so powerful. And I'm amazed every time. We have so many smart, courageous people in soul that are willing to share, be vulnerable, and share their experiences to help other people. And I admire them. I admire all of you. It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, I just want to echo that. I see a lot of people here saying thank you so much for sharing, like amazing stories. And more than that, you're amazing people, right? And to be able to have gone through those things, like a lot of times I don't know if we'd choose to go through them again, but a lot of times those experiences are what help make us even more amazing, right? Because then we can share that with other people, and we have that other like extension of us to be able to say, hey, like I went through this too, and like you're not alone. And I know how hard it is. I could feel a little bit of the nerves from Paige and Andrea, and I just want to say thank you. I know it's always very stressful, at least it is for me, when you're talking about anything personal, but I really do appreciate it, and that's the only way that we can help others, right, is breaking that stigma and sharing our stories. And it's always easier to say, oh yeah, let's break the stigma, but like, let's share someone else's story. So I just want to say thank you for stepping up and doing that.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to you, Tiffany, for a great presentation. Again, I'm amazed how many brilliant people we have in Soul. So thank you for that presentation. And thanks to Paige, and thanks to Andrea for having the courage to share their stories.
Yeah.
And so I think we will let that be the program for tonight. I just do want to remind everyone that if you haven't registered for our Soul United Convention in Orlando, Florida, please do so. You will not be disappointed. We're going to be coming out with more details in the next couple of weeks about the presenters, the information that we're going to be sharing at our Soul United Convention. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be a really good time, and it's going to be very informative. You're going to walk away from that not only more educated, but I think a better person.
Yeah, and I actually just the past few days have been going through with Lon and Jordan and some others the detailed agenda of, what exactly are we speaking about and when and who's speaking and all that stuff. And it's pretty incredible, the mix of it's not just telling you more about herbs, right? Like there's an aspect of that, but the self-development is really awesome. So I'm excited about that because for example, tonight, I think that it's all too easy to get caught up in our daily lives and just, okay, I have this, and this to do today, and I'm surviving, But to take time apart and really focus on ourselves and our businesses and say, okay, but like, how can we talk about these important conversations that we need to talk about that aren't necessary in the sense of you have to do them daily, right? They don't demand your attention up front, which is why a lot of people push them back. But to make time for those conversations and say, oh, wait, these are necessary and they help me in everyday life, and have that setting to be able to talk openly with people and to learn more about self-development is what I'm most excited for. And yeah, like Lon said, we're going to be announcing even more details about the themes and who's speaking and all of that fun stuff, hopefully next week. So hang tight.
Yeah, and hey, at the very least, you're going to get to rub shoulders and be with people like you saw tonight.
Yeah.
Like Tiffany and Andrea and Paige, and you get to hear their stories, and you're going to share your stories with other members of the Soul family. So if you haven't registered, go ahead and register. And again, I want to thank all of our presenters, and I want to thank all of you for joining us in our virtual happy hour. And our next virtual happy hour will be in June, and I believe it's June 15th, if I remember correctly. June 15th is the date for our virtual happy hour.
I'm not going to quote you on that, but it's the
I'm
third
pretty
Tuesday.
sure it is. The third Tuesday, but I know that June 1st is a Tuesday, so it should be June 15th. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next time on our
Thank
virtual
you.
happy hour.